prudence. So you want to choose your words carefully. But, you know, part of wisdom is knowing what to be afraid of. And many times, many times in your life, perhaps with every important choice you make, you've got terror on one side and terror on the other. There's no way forward that doesn't involve risk. And see, there's a big problem with self-censorship, and that is that every time you fail to express who and what you are in an articulated manner, you first of all lose an opportunity to know yourself better. And that's not good, because you have to pilot yourself through life, and life is a very dangerous and treacherous enterprise. And if you don't know yourself well, then you won't pilot yourself well, and you will be hurt more often than you need to be, and that is not trivial. But the other thing is that you also weaken yourself, and I'm speaking as a clinical psychologist here, and I don't think there's any doubt about this, is that, you know, your mind is basically wired up in many different ways to determine what constitutes a valid threat. And that's not an easy thing to figure out. Like, if you wake up in the morning and your side is sore, you know, does that mean you pulled a muscle, or does it mean you have cancer? It's like, you don't know. You can't tell. It's very difficult to determine exactly how threatening a threat is. And one of the ways that your brain figures that out is to watch you. And it assumes that if you move away from something, if you retreat from something, it assumes that the thing that you're retreating from is bigger than you and that you're smaller than it. And so it makes you just that much more existentially weak and frightened. And so when you have something to say and you don't say it, then not only do you miss an opportunity to articulate yourself properly, which is really fundamentally necessary, but you tell yourself right down to the level of your soul that there's less of you than there could be. And that makes the next retreat even more likely. And so you can easily initiate a positive feedback loop where you retreat and you get a little smaller and your enemy gets a little bigger, and then you retreat again and you get a little smaller and your enemy gets a little bigger, and then you're at a point where even under each time you retreat, for success in life, it's a recipe for cowering in the corner and freezing. And so, you know, you might be afraid to say what you have to say, and you might have every reason to be afraid, but you should even be more afraid of not saying what you have to say, because the consequences of that, as they accrue over the long term, are they'll undermine everything for you. They'll undermine your faith in yourself, they'll undermine your family, they'll undermine your society. That is not a place you want to go. So
yeah, and we could take that to a very personal level for you guys. I mean, when I do these events at colleges, one of the questions that I always get asked, and I'm guessing we're going to probably get asked it in a few minutes, is, well, I have a professor who disagrees with me, or he's into all of this postmodern stuff, and I don't want to speak my mind because it's going to affect my grade.